Welcome to Console Training 2. In this first episode of our new show, This Week in Grand MA, we cover MA celebrating its 20th anniversary, the .2 1.3 release, the MA3 console question, when are we getting an MA3 console, and if we get one, what features will it have, as well as two pieces of Console.Training.com news. Let's begin. Our first story for the show comes from Act Lighting, the US distributor, announcing that it has been 20 years since the first MA1 console was officially built. In spring 1997, the full size was brought into production, and here we have an image of Space Invaders, the game that you can play on the MA1 consoles by holding the Setup, Tools, and Backup buttons. Fantastic for those really boring times when you're waiting for a focus or something to happen. Our next story in the list was, of course, from some guy called Alex Hughes, suggesting that there is a game on the MA2 console. Now, the truth is that there is a menu structure for it in version 2.9, and Console Training 1, our normal sister channel, has put up a full video on that. However, it has been possible for someone to sideload a game onto the console. Rowan Hippie, as he is known, McClellan, quite successfully ran Doom on a very old version of the desk, I believe 2.8, and was quite impressive. He's also run a couple of other interesting things. If you dig through the source files, you can still locate source images for a game called Arkanoid. As far as we know, there is no possible way of currently triggering the game, but you never know, there might be some secret circle of MA programmers out there that know something that even we don't. In fantastic MA news from Germany, we now have an entire new version of .2 available. The 1.3 release added some fantastic features that you can read about all in the changelog available on the .2 website. But some of the highlights include a full web remote, which allows pretty much total control of the console for programming and playback using any web-enabled device. We now have 4 Speedmasters available, which is fantastic. As well as the biggest welcome feature, ArtNet and ACN inputs are now individually assignable to .2 universes, rather than being assigned in clusters. As well as this, many bug fixes and an updated fixture library has also been added. Now, the .2 is an interesting console, and I'll talk sort of on an unofficial basis because I don't represent an MA directly. I am a brand influencer, but it is a voluntary role, and we do it because we are passionate about the product. Many people have been canning the .2 console, but as we slowly see it get into more of a senior and older system, we're starting to see some of the features that we loved on the on the MA2 and MA1 appear on the .2. Now, it was always designed as a basic desk. It is designed for people that have never used lighting desks before, and it steps people through the process fantastically. The fact that it takes the same fixtures as the MA desk is absolutely fantastic. The MA2 desk, of course, same fixture files. And the fact that you can take a .2 show file and put it onto MA2 is also another fantastic upgrade for those that may want to do a bit of previews at home, or they may not have a nice MA2 setup. They can do it all in .2 and then bring it across without too many issues. That's the .2 release. Let's talk about some exciting MA news. From closer to home, we've launched our channel, Console Training 2, which you're currently watching this on. This channel will be a bit more relaxed, as I've said in previous videos, than our normal channel. All the training materials will still be on Console Training 1. This is more just chat and odds and ends, maybe bits of programming, just maybe stuff that isn't, so well edited. Of course, this will be the home for the new show This Week in MA, which is you're watching. And hopefully it does well. This is sort of a trial. We'll do it for a couple of weeks and see how the feedback is. So hopefully you like the new channel. Please subscribe to both of them and enjoy. We'll move on to our final bit of news that's been hanging around for a couple of weeks now, and that is, if MA were to build a new desk, what features and attributes would you like to see? And isn't that a massive can of worms? And there were so many fantastic suggestions that I reckon, most of the software-based ones you could easily integrate into MA2. Personally, I don't feel that we need an MA3 just yet. I think the MA2 system is well established now. We're getting to a point where it's fantastically stable, and it's got a lot of features you need. There were some really interesting suggestions, such as a 3D mouse for the console, and while that would be interesting, I think replacing the trackball would be something that a lot of people would be against, including myself. While I prefer to use the encoders for doing my positions and all my normal stuff, gobos and stuff, some people love the track wheel for pan and tilt, and I personally really like it when you don't have space for a mouse and you just need to get around the screen and you don't want to touch, or you just want to right click on something. And I know you can click roughly where it is and then right click with the encoder wheel, but sometimes it's good to just have a mouse inbuilt, and occasionally you'll get the programmers that'll absolutely love using the trackball for positions. Some people use it, some people don't. One thing that's reoccurring is the ultralight as a desk, the MA2 ultralight. It's a really interesting topic, and I personally would also love to see a smaller MA, but that is what the wing range is for, I think, personally. And I don't speak, once again, I don't speak for MA. I speak from my own personal and Console.Training's perspective. And I say that the wings are fantastic. I'd love something that was all in one. And there are lots of Chinese knockoff copies, and that's definitely a discussion for another day. The short version is don't buy them, pretty much. They're not stable. They are horrendous to the market in general, because you're devaluing the MA brand at the same time. And MA has also recently announced that they will be obviously chasing down people that not only distribute but use the products. But the idea of a small 2-screen or 1-screen ultralight desk would be fantastic. I know so many touring people that want something that they can fly with, sort of a flyaway kit. And I know that the other companies have got them. I won't name them, but we know that there's one that's, sort of a swine, sort of a pig sort of thing, that's got a hedge variety of something that is quite small and portable. And then you've got the Camsys or Shamsys range of desks that all fit into that. There are lots out there, but we need to remember that MA is targeting the upper echelon of the market, and that's where I can understand why the ultralight looks like it does. It's a perfect backup desk to your full-size or light console, and it's a fantastic theatre programming desk, except for the lack of the intensity wheel, which is always a sore point for me every time I use it, because it was pitched as a theatre desk and is simply not a theatre desk if it doesn't have an encoder wheel for your dimmer. And while you can use the trackball to do your intensity, is not the same as having an encoder wheel. Even the command wing has the intensity wheel, and I fail to understand it. But these are the decisions that were made. This is the hardware we have. You never know what comes in the future, but if you ever do have feature suggestions or hardware suggestions, make your distributor known. The biggest change comes from people asking questions, and that's how we ended up with the PC line of wings and faders and stuff. We said we want something that runs on PC. We want to be able to use a device that we can plug in via USB. Using on PC is just an offline editor is fantastic, but we want something that we can run with a show. And that's how we've ended up with the tactile command wing and fader wing. Anyway, this was our first episode of This Week in MA. This was a trial. Hopefully you've loved it. Leave a comment. Please share it. Let me know if you find any stories. Of course, thanks to all the posts that's appeared in today's show. My name is Alex Hughes. Thank you for watching.